1st of April. We excuse from this meeting Council members Luna and Heredia. We will begin our meeting this afternoon with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join me for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. The first item on our agenda today is awards and recognitions, and tonight we have one proclamation on the awards and recognitions agenda. The Week of the Young Child is designed to celebrate the organizations, teachers, and policies that support early learning opportunities for all children. From First Things First and the National Association for the Education of Young Children to the Early Learning Network and Mesa K-Ready, national, state, and local groups are focused on the future of our youngest residents. So tonight I proclaim April 8th through 12th, 2019 as the Week of the Young Child in Mesa, Arizona. Here today to accept the proclamation is First Things First Southwest Maricopa Regional Council member Shiloh Merlo. Shiloh, please come forward to the podium. We'd invite you to say a few words about the Week of the Young Child, after which we'll come down for a photo and to present you with the proclamation. Thank you for being here and for the great work you're doing in our community.
Thank you, Mayor Giles. I feel very privileged to be here today with the council and be able to come for the proclamation this week. The Week of the Young Child is very important to all of us here in the community, and I am a parent myself, but I'm on the Regional Council for Southeast Maricopa Region, and look forward to sharing today a couple of thoughts on that. One of the things I like to state is that our children are very important to the future, and one of those things is making sure they're all ready, all children here in Mesa, for the future and being ready for school. So the Week of the Young Child brings to mind some of those points. We work with the council from First Things First in the Southeast Maricopa region, partnering with families and communities, and we want to make sure that everyone has healthy development and has the learning that they need before they go off to kindergarten. So with the help of Mesa K-Ready and the Early Learning Network here in Mesa, we just know that you, Mayor Giles, have been a big advocate for that, and we support and love that idea behind what you're proceeding to do. So thank you for giving us the time today. I just want to say one more thing. The work that we all do for the community with children in mind is paramount for our future together, and I appreciate your time today. So thank you very, very much for allowing us to be here today.
Thank you very much. I think we've often say that Mesa's got to be a great place to be a kid, and we appreciate all of the community partners that are working with the city to do that. Council, please join me down at the podium for a photograph with the proclamation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is to take action on the consent agenda. We invite Kevin Christopher forward to read the consent agenda. Mr. Christopher.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. These are the items on the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk will be considered as a group by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There'll be no separate discussion unless a council member or citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. If a citizen wants an item removed, a blue card must be completed and given to the city clerk prior to the council's vote on the consent agenda. Item 2, approval of minutes of previous meetings as written. Item 3A, act on liquor license application for Blue Thunder Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club, one-day event, Thursday, April 4th, 922 South Country Club Drive. Item 3B, act on liquor license application for Real Change International Management Group Incorporated, one-day event, Saturday, April 6th, 1666 South Dobson Road. Item 3C, act on liquor license application for Calling All Angels Foundation, one-day event, Saturday, April 27th, Riverview Park, 2100 West Rio Salado Parkway. Item 3D, act on liquor license application for Solid Rock Foundation, one-day event, Saturday, April 27th, 7555 East Eagle Crest Drive. Item 3E, act on liquor license application for At Your Convenience, 8461 East Broadway Road. Item 3F, act on liquor license application for Goodies, 1862 West Broadway Road. Item 3G, act on liquor license application for PK Shabu Shabu, 1832 West Broadway Road. Item 4A, act on bingo application for East Valley Bingo, 8700 East University Drive. Item 5A, act on 3-year term contract with 2 years of renewal options for original equipment manufacturer, heavy-duty truck parts and repairs for the Fleet Services Department. Item 5B, act on dollar limit increase to the term contract for General Motors original equipment manufacturer, auto and light-duty truck parts for the Fleet Services Department. Item 5C, act on contract amendment and dollar limit increase to the term contract for original equipment manufacturer, heavy-duty truck parts and repairs for the Fleet Services Department. Item 5D, act on 3-year term contract with 2 years of renewal options for original equipment manufacturer, Kawasaki motorcycle parts for the Fleet Services Department. Item 5E, act on 3-year term contract with 2 years of renewal options for heavy-duty truck, brake, and wheel parts for the Fleet Services Department. Item 5F, act on ratification of a 3-month emergency extension and dollar limit increase for the term contract for uniform garment rental for various city departments as requested by the Business Services Department. Item 5G, act on 3-year term contract with 2 years of renewal options for asphalt materials for the Transportation Department. Item 5H, act on 1-year renewal of the term contract for storm drain grates and manhole covers for the Transportation Department. Item 5I, act on dollar limit increase to the term contract for fence, gate, and safety repair, rail repair installation for the Transportation and Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities Departments. Item 5J, act on contract to purchase replacement playground equipment and installation for Riverview Park as requested by the Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities Department. Item 5K, act on 1-year renewal of the term contract with a 1-year renewal option for window cleaning services for citywide buildings as requested by the Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities Department. Item 5L, act on 1-year renewal of the term contract for electrical supplies for process controls, supervisory control, and data acquisition for the Water Resources and Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities Departments. Item 5M, act on 1-year renewal with a 1-year renewal option to the term contract for fire equipment and supplies for the Mesa Fire and Medical Department. Item 5N, act on contract for purchase replacement fire apparatus, including 3 aerial trucks and 1 pumper truck for the Mesa Fire and Medical Department. This purchase is funded by 2018 public safety bonds. Item 5O, act on contract amendment and dollar limit increase to the term contract for cellular phone equipment, wireless voice, and data service plan for citywide departments as requested by the Police Department. Item 5P, act on contract for bus shelter repair services at the northeast corner of Mesa Drive and Southern Avenue as requested by the Transit Services Department. Item 5Q, act on 3-year term contract with 2 years of renewal options for uninterruptible power supply, preventative system maintenance, and related services, equipment, and parts for various city departments. Item 5R, act on the Signal Butte Park Project Construction Manager at Risk contract. Project fundings from the 2012 authorized parks bonds, 2014 authorized water bonds, and 2013 authorized street bonds. Item 6A, act on resolution extinguishing a portion of a public utilities easement at 2224 Paseo Lago Vista to accommodate development of a hotel. This is requested by the property owner. Item 6B, act on resolution approving and authorizing the city manager to accept, expend, and distribute grant funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Continuum of Care Shelter Plus Care Grant for the purposes of providing rental assistance, supportive services, and related administrative services to disabled families experiencing homelessness. Item 6C, act on resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of general obligation bonds, Series 2019. Item 6D has been removed from the consent agenda. Item 6E, act on resolution authorizing the defeasance and redemption of a portion of the city's outstanding taxable utility systems revenue bonds, Series 2009 Build America bonds. Items 6F and 6G have been removed from the consent agenda. Item 7A, introduction of ordinance regarding ZON 18-00933, located within the 10,800 to 11,600 blocks of East Williamsfield Road, South Side, the 6,000 to 6,300 blocks of South Signal Butte Road, East Side, the 6,000 to 6,300 blocks of South Mountain Road, West Side, the 6,000 to 6,500 blocks of South Mountain Road, East Side, and the 6,000 to 6,300 blocks of South Meridian Road on the west side. This is located south of Williamsfield and east of Signal Butte. Rezone and modify an existing planned area development and site plan review to allow for single residential development. Item 7B, introduction of ordinance regarding ZON 19-00016, located within the 7,100 to 7,600 blocks of East Elliott Road and the 3,100 to 3,500 blocks of South Sossaman Road, located north of Elliott Road and west of Sossaman Road. Rezone to create the Red Hawk Employment Opportunity Zone to establish zoning to guide future development of employment and industrial uses. Item 8A, act on ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 8 of the Mesa City Code, entitled Qualified Electors, to be consistent with state statutory requirements for election petitions. Item 8B, act on ordinance regarding ZON 18-00931 within the 1800 block of West Broadway Road, located east of Dobson Road on the north side of Broadway, rezone and site plan review to allow for development of an automobile sales detail building. Item 8C, act on ordinance regarding ZON 19-00040, 4558 East Virginia Street, located east of Greenfield Road and south of the 202 Red Mountain Freeway. Rezone and site plan modification to allow for expansion of an existing industrial development. Item 9A, act on subdivision plat, cadence at Gateway Phase 3, Parcel T, within the 5,500 to 5,800 blocks of the South Crisman Road alignment on the east side, and within the 10,000 to 10,100 blocks of the East Cadence Parkway alignment on the north side, located south and east of Crisman and Ray Roads within the Cadence at Gateway community. Item 9B, act on subdivision plat, cadence at Gateway Phase 3, Parcel U, within the 10,100 block of the East Cadence Parkway alignment, north side. This is located south and east of Crisman and Ray Roads within the Cadence at Gateway community. Item 9C, act on subdivision plat, cadence at Gateway Phase 3, Parcel V, within the 10,100 blocks of the East Williamsfield Road alignment on the north side, located south and east of Crisman and Ray Roads within the Cadence at Gateway community. And item 9D, act on subdivision plat, cadence at Gateway Phase 3, Parcel W, within the 5,800 through 5,900 blocks of the South Crisman Road alignment on the east side and the 10,000 block of the East Williamsfield alignment on the north side, located south and east of Crisman and Ray Roads within the Cadence at Gateway community. Mayor and council members, these are the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher. Ms. Mickelson, has anyone requested to speak on an item on the consent agenda? Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Thompson, seconded by Mr. Freeman, in favor of the consent agenda. Please cast your vote. Thank you. We have 5 ayes with Councilmember Heredia and Luna absent. The next item on our agenda is item 6D. I note that items 6D, F, and G are similar, but I assume, Mr. Smith, we need to have separate votes on each one of these items. But given that they are somewhat similar, I would think that we could maybe group the discussion of each into one general discussion. Thank you. Let's hear a staff presentation on what we're doing here.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Today I'd like to review, this evening I'd like to review the several slides from the presentation we gave on Thursday related to 6D, 6F, and 6G. The first slide I'd like to review is about the utilities, 6D utility new money. This year we are, for council, let's see, let me pull this up. Oh, here it is. For council's consideration, approximately $112 million of issuance for the utility new monies. The majority of that is related to the wastewater plant, the Greenfield water plant that's listed down below as one of the project examples. As we discussed downstairs, this authorization that is being used was voter approved, and this would be used for those projects below. The other items on 6F and 6G, let's see, are refundings, and those refundings relate to bonds that are currently outstanding today. And what we're proposing for the consideration of council is to issue refunding bonds to refund the currently outstanding bonds with a lower interest rate. What that will do is save us approximately $12 million, as we have here estimated on current market interest rates. As we discussed below, this date has been set so that we can close these bonds by the end of June or by the end of May, so that we can refund these bonds in July and accrue actualize the savings so that we can build into the budget next year. Those are 6D, 6F, and 6G.
Thank you very much. Ms. Mickelson, do we have any requests to speak from the public on on items 6D, F, or G? No. Thank you. Comments from council members? Okay.
Hey, Mayor, I'll make a comment. I just don't want to delay any of these voter-approved bonds. I think it's important that we can defease or have savings within our bond series. So, you know, we've been briefed on this, and I'm comfortable moving forward with it. I'll make a motion to approve one at a time.
Yes,
if that's
please.
the case.
Yes. Is there a motion on item 6D? Thank you. Mr. Freeman has made a motion. Is there a second? Thank you. Mr. Whitaker electronically has seconded the motion. I have a brief comment as well. Item 6D, as was indicated earlier, is to fund an existing construction project, our Greenfield wastewater treatment plant. It would be very disruptive to halt in the middle of that project, and it would result in significant additional cost if we were to interrupt the construction of that expansion of that wastewater treatment plant. With regard to items F and G, again, these are refinancing existing bonds to a better rate, saving the city approximately $12 million. So I have difficulty imagining why we would not do that. Any other comments?
Yeah, I have one comment. I think the issue that I have with the bond issuance isn't necessarily that I disagree that we shouldn't refinance the bonds or necessarily create bonds for projects that are necessary, but the issue is probably more budgetary in the sense that we're not allocating enough of our operating revenues to a reserve fund in order to not have to issue bonds in this amount. So it's not necessarily the fact that I disagree with bonds as it is the amount of bonds that we're distributing. If we used more of our revenues for that, then these wouldn't be necessary.
Okay. We have a motion and a second in favor of item 6D. Please vote. Passes with 5 ayes with Mr. Heredia and Mr. Luna absent. Next, is there a motion on item 6F? Thank you. Councilmember Duff has made a motion for approval. Is there a second? Mr. Freeman's trying, but Mr. Thompson is going to get the credit?
No, they all just came off.
Okay. We'll reset that. Is there a motion for approval for item 6F? Thank you. Ms. Duff has made the motion, seconded by Mr. Thompson. Please cast your vote. The voting is 5 ayes with Mr. Heredia and Mr. Luna absent. So that motion passes. Next is item 6G. Is there a motion for approval? Thank you. Mr. Freeman's made the motion, seconded by Mr. Thompson. Please cast your votes. Passes 5 ayes with Mr. Heredia and Mr. Luna absent. The next item on our agenda is item 11. That is items from citizens present. We do have one request to speak. I would invite Mr. Bruce Durst to come forward. Mr. Durst, thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts with us. We've allocated 3 minutes for your presentation. Oh,
Mayor, just before we start, if
I
you could,
apologize.
we'll just indicate,
Mr. Durst, give me 1 second, okay?
if you could just
Mr. Smith.
indicate that, and I know you did at the study session, that item 10 has been withdrawn by the applicant, just so in case the public that didn't watch the study session, that there where item 10 was withdrawn.
Thank you. I apologize. Yeah, previously, there was an item off the consent agenda for a hearing. That was agenda item 10A, and that item has been withdrawn by the applicant. and the applicant confirmed that in our study session downstairs. Thank you. I apologize for interrupting you, Mr. Durst. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, good evening, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Bruce Durst. I'm a resident in District 5 and live at 8136 East Dutchman Drive. I live in Fountain of the Sun, the 55 retirement community. I'm here to ask the City of Mesa to adopt a no wild bird feeding ordinance similar to the City of Tempe, which prohibits feeding of wild birds, and the City of Phoenix that are putting a no pigeon feeding ordinance together as I speak. Specifically, pigeons and doves. Doves and pigeons are scientifically the same bird. Pigeons are also referred to as flying rats for a good reason. Their excrement causes health risks to our younger and older citizens. Those who feed these birds cause a nuisance to neighbors. Their excrement also causes property damage by defecating on rooftops, patios, lawn furniture, cars, sidewalks, and driveways. Bird seed falling on the ground also attracts rodents, causing more health risks and another nuisance. Their excrement on shingles can cause them to deteriorate 20% sooner than their normal life expectancy. Pigeons, doves defecate 40 to 50 times per day per bird. That's again, pigeons, doves defecate 40, 50 times a day per bird. Pigeons normally breed 2 or 3 times a year, producing 2 eggs per brood. Overfed city pigeons can breed up to 8 times a year. They breed all year around in warm weather, only causing a compounding problem year over year. It needs to stop. Let's join our neighboring cities in putting an end to wild bird feeding and clean up our city and communities. Let's not be the only safe harbor where pigeons and doves know where they'll find food provided by Mesa citizens. They should not be fed but forced to survive on what nature intended them to feed on. You can see on page 3.1 and 3.2 the health risk, property damage, and nuisance they cause. Page 5.1 is an article about feeding pigeons in the City of Phoenix, and on page 5.3, the highlighted last paragraph shows that they will vote on a final ordinance later this year. Page 6.1 shows the Tempe ordinance, which requires petitions signed by 3 witnesses in separate households. I do not like the requirements of having 3 households because I feel this sets neighbor against neighbor and could cause disharmony between neighbors. If you have an ordinance against feeding wild birds, pigeons, doves especially, the fact that a neighbor is feeding them should be enough to enforce the ordinance without causing neighbor discontent. So I hope the City of Mesa passes an ordinance making feeding wild birds illegal. Page 7.2 shows what I had to do, which cost me time and money to prevent pigeons from nesting on 2 new ceiling fans I installed on my patio. You can read the other information in this packet at your leisure. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Durst.
You're welcome.
You bet. Council, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting? Thank you, Mr. Freeman. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.